Om Angikam Bhuvanam Yasya Vachikam Sarvavangmayam Aharyam Chandra Taradi Tam Numas Satvikam Shivam. Let me introduce my student Gopika. She is going to help me demonstrate a few things while I do this lecture. Gopika Pai, she has been learning from me for many years. She has finished her Arangetram. She is also a graduate in literature from the Delhi University and joined for her post-graduation in the same university. Okay, come. We will do the Namaskaram. Dhalang kutakadi kutakatadin kena tum ta ka dhimmi ta ka dhimmi ta ka dhimmi ta ka dhim. Okay. Since most of us in this meeting are either dancers or dance lovers or artists, other artists. I say dance because many other forms of dancers may also be there. I don't need to go into any origin of dance, all those we don't need to do all that. But I would like to tell you still a few words about Smt Rukmini Devi and Kalakshetra, because we are going to talk about the Kalakshetra legacy of Bharatanatyam. Now, Bharatanatyam, the word itself, I'll come to that later. Rukmini Devi, who was born in 1904.
Girija, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but
yes.
Your screen is stuck for all of us. We are only able to hear your voice.
I was telling you about Kalakshetra and Rukmini Devi. She started learning Bharatanatyam, or what was known as the Tamil Nadu style of dance, one style of dance, when she was around 35, I think. And at that time, initially she started learning music, and she was very much inspired by Anna Pavlova, the famous ballerina, to learn dancing. And that is how she started learning the prevalent dance form in Tamil Nadu. And for that, she went in search of from where to learn Bharatanatyam, and she found these Nattuvanars, the family of dancers who danced in the temples. The ladies danced in the temples, and the men, they were the Nattuvanars, like they were accompanying artists, and they were also teachers. So she was able to find this very famous Nattuvanar, Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai, and and also Chokkalingam Pillai. They belonged to Pandanallur, one place. So now she started learning from them, and slowly she developed dance dramas, small dramas which didn't involve Bharatanatyam too much. And initially she had a lot of trouble starting dance classes, because dancing, because nobody would allow her, but she had to coax these Nattuvanas to come and teach her. So that's how she started learning dance. Later on, slowly it evolved that this form of dance started being called Bharatanatyam. I cannot say exactly when the name changed from Sadir or Dasyatam to Bharatanatyam, but it somewhere along the way it changed. And Rukmini Devi was very interested in starting a school for these young people. She learned this, and she realized that stay with the Devadasi community. The Devadasi community was the ones who had this big treasure wealth of this dance form, and she wanted to bring it to others, all normal people. She wanted everybody to see, and so she started this institution where anybody could come and learn. So then initially she had these Natuanas to help her teach. So, and she codified the adavus, codified a lot of things in the prevalent style of Tamil Nadu dancing, and brought a structure to the teaching or learning for young people or anybody for that matter. So that is how they started. There must have been this structure of Tattadavu and Nattadavu and all that, but still she decided that, I mean, okay, we do this first and the next like that. So that is how she wanted to give this form of dance to the public, anybody who wanted to learn and perform. Now, when she started the school, she decided that there should be a way of dressing, way of conducting yourself in the school, etc. So the practice costume became an important thing. Now the practice costume was very important. That is cotton dress with cotton pajamas and cotton top blouses, and then a cotton sari. This cotton sari, everything had to be cotton because it was hot, and then even if it was not hot, you would sweat a lot, so it had to be absorbed. You had to be comfortable. And this cotton costumes, loose costumes where you could sit and get up and jump, movement should be easy. So then that style just continued always. Even now in Kalakshetra there is a dance sari, a short dance sari which everybody wears. Now all over the world everybody wears a dance sari, specially made for this dance practice. So that was very important. Then also the colors. They suggested that you wear bright colors because you're doing something very happy, and why not bright colors? So they tried to tell us to avoid black and white. White would be too bare and black would be too dark. So any other colors other than these two we were all allowed to wear. And then she insisted that we have a plate, single plate for dance classes, and that too a tight plate, so that the hair doesn't come onto your face when you are dancing, when you are doing the exercises, any of those things. The next was jewelry. The plate also with a center parting. There are a lot of, anybody who knows a little bit of Indian culture will know that there are a lot of significance why we take a central parting, but I won't go into that now. Then she also insisted that all of us wear good jewelry. Jewelry in the sense very light jewelry, but just a chain and some earrings and some bangles. All this, you need not wear any gold bangles or something, but you should not wear glass bangles. Any of these things, all of these things at least, was a must. We also had to wear a bindi, pottu. Always a pottu is a must for any class, that in Kalakshetra, any other stream of education also, we had to do that. Pottu was important. So anyway, now why I am saying is this is because students ask me, why do you have to wear this dance costume with pottu and bangle and all that, put eye kajal in your eyes? Because, am I on this now? Yeah, because see, you are getting prepared. When you are learning dance, one day you want to perform in front of a audience. So then you need to get used to all this jewelry, something in your neck, something in your ears, something in your hands, all that you have to get used to. So that's why it was a great thing, it was a good thing that they insisted on all this jewelry. Now that is how we went to a class every day when we all were students in Kalakshetra. I try to do that even to my students to a large extent. Yes, okay. Now that we have finished getting ready for the class, we will start with the class. Like if I say the Kalakshetra legacy of Bharatanatyam, that means how did Kalakshetra treat Bharatanatyam? I already told you, by the time the institute started, it had already got this name Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam is because the Bharata Muni wrote the Natya Shastra, so this dance form is called Bharatanatyam. No, that cannot be, because there are so many very beautiful dance forms in India which is totally Indian. They all also had the origin in Bharata's Natya Shastram, but this somehow got the name Bharatanatyam. Okay. Now, next is practice. Now, how do we start with the classes? Immediately, as soon as you go into a class, we never used to have any exercises. Few exercises maybe, but not all exercises, because there was not enough time. We had about 1.5 hours, that was all. So we did all the exercises early in the morning or just before class. I will show you a few things about exercises. Again, why? Because we need all these things for young people when they learn to have a supple body and maintain till the end of the class the energy, to maintain the energy till the end of the class. So I am going to ask my student to show a few of the just samples of exercises. We used to start the class with now into this I have added my own set of exercises and all that. So I used to get this children, my students, to start with stretches. Those stretches, all the stretches were part of yoga, standing exercises. Can I have Gopika on the screen? Is Gopika on the screen? Yes? Dhalang, kutakadiku.
I'm sorry, and to mention to the rest of the participants, you can pin the account Girija Ravindranath. The video is working fine for the account by name Girija Ravindranath. Thank you.
Okay, can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, just stand a little bit away from this. Okay. Dhalang kutakadi kutakata dinge na tum ta ka dim mi ta ka dim mi ta ka dim mi chutti ta ka dim mi 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 ta ka kaitade dim mi. Okay, these are the stretches which I make the students do. It's not just once, but anyway, now I'm just showing you some of them. Now we will do some. I have also adopted some exercises from other people which are very good for Aramandi, Natyaramba. Just do a little bit for Natyaramba. Just. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 and then chutti 1 2 chutti 1 2 3 4 5 opposite 1 2 3 4 5. That's it. Okay, these things we do for Natyarambham. Then Aramandi exercises also. Just a few I am showing you. 1 2 3 1 dhalang kutakadi kutakata dinkina tom ta 2 1 2 1 2. Okay, then next 1 2 1 2 1 2, like this, both the legs and then both the legs. All these are good for muscle toning of the legs for Aramandi. Those are for Aramandi. Okay, and then Murumandi exercises, sitting and getting up. This in 3-4 speeds we do, and then after that Murumandi jumps, sit in Murumandi and then jump without bouncing too much. Yes, and then there are the Prankhanam exercises. Sit in Prankhanam and get up. Again, see, all this I'm just showing so that you know it's not enough if you just learn Adavus and then try to learn items and then do go on to the items. Then also jumps to make you feel light, also jumps, just 5. Okay, these are when you land softly. These are all different techniques which just to make you comfortable and relaxed for all the movements. Now we will go to the Tattadavu. Tattadavu is in Kalakshetra. We were, after all these exercises, we were asked to we were taught the Adavus. Now Adavus, when you sit in Aramandi, okay, now I will come to Aramandi. There are different postures. Can people see me? Yes? No. There are different postures in Bharatanatyam. Everybody knows all that, but I'll just show you a few postures which are needed for dancer. Adavus. Show me Ayatam. No, this is first is Sthanakam, standing up, and then Ayatam, sit in Aramandi, and then Prankhanam, and then Preritam. These are some postures which are needed for initial Adavus. Now what happens is, if you are used to, if you know how to do these postures and be comfortable in those postures, again it is very easy to learn all the items, Adavus. Now we will do the Tattadavu. All the Adavus are taught in 3 speeds. Again, now there are 8 Tattadavus. Why do we do the 8 Tattadavus? First one is one on a leg, then the second one is 2 in a leg, 3 in a leg, like that. But these 8 Adavus are also to get you to, we will just show you some first. Dhalang kutakadi kutakatadin kenatom tei ya tei ya tei. Please turn around and see how it is being done from behind. 1 2 3 tei ya tei ya tei ya tei. Okay, turn around, and the third speed. 1 2 3 teya tei teya tei teya tei teya tei teya tei teya tei. Okay, now you saw why I showed the behind is because we are asked to lift our legs with the ankle bent and hit the back and strike. We need to do all this. Again, it is all to get your posture straight. These are the basics very strong foundation it gives you to go on to other adavus, complicated adavus, have balance for all those adavus. Okay, now that is that adavu. Then comes nat adavu. By the time nat adavu comes, you need to start using the hands, you must know. Now, how to hold the hands? When you stand, even for this tat adavu, you need to stand. You know, teachers used to tell us, hold your back straight. Back straight, when you say back straight, it's not, you know, like this, back straight. It is holding straight and then just getting your shoulder blades down and having a, be comfortable in that and having a beautiful posture. So what you do is, when you do that, you yourself feel that energy. There's some energy which helps you to stand straight and look straight. You know, you will not slump, you will not look down. When you do that, you're able to look up and feel nice about it. So even for tat adavu, any adavus, it's all the same. When I'll show you the nat adavu now, third one, please do. And now there is even in nat adavu, there is you know, a lot of people say Kalakshetra style of dancing is very stiff and very rigid and all that. The practice is very rigid, but the dancing is not rigid. There are a lot of graces and bends and feelings into the adavus. All this we are taught, but there's a misconception with everybody, you know, that Kalakshetra style, which is actually one of the Natuvanas had taught Rukmini Devi, and then Rukmini Devi has taught her very like her own daughter Sharda Hoffman, Sharda teacher, and Sharda teacher has taught everybody else, and that is how the institute started having a lot of dancers, and all the teachers came from that. So now when this Natyarambam, now see, there are some changes which maybe I will say refinement to the movement which Rukmini Devi has done. Now this is Natyarambam, when you hold the Natyarambam with your elbows up, but you need to hold your arms tight and your fingers tight and your thumb bent. All this gives you strength to hold the Natyarambam well. Always you should bend, hold this Natyarambam well. Just bend to the side. Whether you bend to the side or bend forward, anything, Natyarambam always stays there. So these are all the things which teachers used to tell us that we should maintain. Now she will show you some Natyadavu. There is bend also in Natyadavu. That's what I want to show you now. Dhalang kutak, second speed. Dhalang kutakadi kutakata dinkenatum teiyum ta ta teiyum ta ha teiyum ta ta teiyum ta 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 teiyum ta ta teiyum ta. Even third speed also it goes on like this. Now again, now this is bending, for bending I am saying this, and the next is, now we will do the seventh Natyadava. Again there is a big bend in this and the lines. There is a big bend in seventh Natyadava. It's a very tough adava. I ask the students to hold on to something and lift the left leg which is stretched, you know, so that they have the feeling of having all the weight onto this leg which is on which they are standing. Only then you can hold straight and do your hand gestures and all that and strike well. So Natyadava, and again these lines. The lines are always have been very important, and lot of attention has been drawn to those lines in Kalakshetra. If you had your Prayankanam, it's always like this, Prayankanam. If you had your Garuna Mandalam, it's always straight. The knees are straight. It's never bent, never relaxed. Even your ankle is never relaxed like this. I hope you can see. And so ankle is stretched. These are the things which they used to insist on. So, Gopika will show you the 7th Natadava, second speed. Dhalang kutakadi kutakata dingena to teyum tatta teyum ta teyum tatta teyum tata ulkulika teyum tatta teyum ta teyum tatta teyum onu teyum tatta teyum ta teyum tatta teyum ta teyum tatta teyum ta teyum tatta teyum ta. Okay, that is the 7th Natadava. This is only the second speed. First speed, second speed, third speed, all speeds you have to practice with all these lines. Lines are very important. And then again there is this swastikam. Swastikam is another position which is a very difficult position to get right. Can you show me? Show swastikam. Front swastikam and then back swastikam. Okay, and standing up swastikam. This Krishna pose, just lift your pajama a little bit, pajama. See, get your ankle stretched. Okay, yeah. Always have the ankle stretched so that it looks nice. You know what happens is when you stretch your ankle, this curve comes. You know your foot, there is a curve. That curve is very beautiful. Actually, when you stand in a posture like this, that curve is important, but you don't need to do that and stand on your toes. If you stand on your toes, you have no balance. Again, they tell you to use the ball of your foot to have strength and balance. Now that is the 7th Natadava. I want to show you this because you know there is a bend. There is always a bend. We have always been asked to bend and do things. Now I'll show another. So, if anybody says again bend, dhalang kutakadi kutakata dingena tum ta tei tei ta dit tei tei ta ta atami ta dit tei tei ta ta tei tei ta dit tei tei ta ta tei tei ta dit tei tei ta. There is always bend. Everywhere there is bend. This bend initially when you teach, you may not be able to, the children may not be able to learn, but then slowly you introduce the bend and the bend gives grace. You know, always when a movement is done with bends, especially the body bend, torso, there is grace. Grace is, it is synonymous to grace, like I would say. A lot of people are thinking that Kalakshetra style means everything has to be straight, ta, thei, thei, ta, thei, you know, it's only like this. There is no need to do any of these things. You can always bend, you can use a lot of bends. Oh, please do thei, thei, thei. This is another bend. This is a smaller bend, just your shoulder alone bends, okay. 1, 2, 3. Tei, tei, did tei, 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 did tei, 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 did tei, 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 did tei. See, again there is a bend. So bend gives grace again, I am telling you. And there is another thing I want to tell is that Kalakshetra insists on is tol kuluka. Tol kuluka. Whether you hold your Natyarambam or you are standing with your hands around your waist, this tolkulaka should always be there, and it has to be very firm and precise and not, you know, this relaxed. You should not do tolkulaka, and also you should not do this. So for all that, you need to have that stretch in your body with your shoulder blades and have your straight core, feel the core straight. Okay. Now that is tei tei tei. Again, another adavu I want to show is tahata jamtarita. How there is a bend, and you know, it's like I tell the children, you know, they see you by plucking a flower and then coming back, and then see I have the flower. So you give a story to the adavu, all the adavus, and that's how we are taught. Show 1, 2, 3. Ta, hatta jam, tari, ta. jam, tari, jaka, tari, te. See that? Ta, hatta, jam, tari, ta, jam, tari, otami, tari, te. Okay. So these are the different adavus. I will say all these adavus in 3 speeds. How you manage to bring your hands in all the places, even in the 3rd speed, all that, just practice alone can reach you there. So another thing very characteristic, I will say, you know, actually all this is what I have understood and how I have tried to teach, thought about it a lot. When you learn in Kalakshetra, you know, there are 4 years you learn, and then maybe you will get 2 more years of post graduation, that's all. After that, if you are lucky, you go on to stay on for some more time, otherwise you leave. So then sometimes after you leave Kalakshetra and you start teaching or you start dancing, that's when you realize a lot of things, what they told you, how they told you. They tell me, you know, I had long arms and I was thinner than this. So give your strength to your elbows. How to give strength to elbows? I didn't know what to do. Through teaching, I learned to give strength over here and give strength to your fingers, you know, the fingers of your hand. And then that gives you strength. For the whole Natyanama, it gives you strength. Anyway, it's the same. Hold the mudras shuddham. Okay. So another this thol kulika is one thing, which is a characteristic thing. Another one is kulika. When you walk, you need to do kulika. If you don't do that kulika, then I will tell that person, no, you have not learned from Kalakshetra, or you have not learned from anybody who has done a course in Kalakshetra. So now the kulika, when you kulika and do that kulika and walk, even stamping, this is important, very important for Kalakshetra. They always insist on this kulika. That is a characteristic style of Kalakshetra. I will ask Gopika to do one, just walk around, takadimmi, just a small round, okay, don't, takadimmi, takadim, takadimmi, takadimmi, kadimmi, takadimmi, takad, chauti, takadimmi, takadimmi. See that? You need to do that. That again is a very, very characteristic style of Kalakshetra. Now I will say style. I don't want to use the word Bani, because even in Kalakshetra, you know, we were taught, sometimes you are taught by 2-3 teachers, sometimes you are taught by 2 teachers, and then you imbibe their special styles, special corrections. And so there was always, when I learned, there was this Jaya teacher, then there was Sharda teachers, and we were wondering what to do. Now, okay, at that time you are a student, you are a little confused. But you evolve and then you develop your own. Then you also think about which is good for your students, which is good for you. When you do what looks nice on you, all this is also important when you think of an adavu. In Kalakshetra, it used to be like that. Sharda teacher taught us like that. So then this is not right. No, that's not it. Even Sharda teacher, she always taught which was good for you. She thought about always the line and the posture. Jaya teacher thought so much about grace. Both these had to be there. Both of them had these two. That's how they taught. So I think that's to some extent what I have to say today. And always this bending. Any adava when we always did bend. Bend was a definite thing. You cannot do an adava without bend. You teiha tehi. Bent nicely and dhalang. Second one, back, and then do this. Dhalang. Kutakadi kutakatading na tum teiha tei 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 teiha tei. See that? You need to do that bend. But can you do all the time bend? That's not possible. You have to be firm, because all these adavus in Bharatanatyam, you must know, everything comes in from slow speed and to 3rd speed and sometimes 4th speed. So very, very fast movements are there. So you cannot be, you know, very graceful and have your hands and all loose when you do fourth speed or third speed. You have to have them firm. That is the firmness they were always telling us. Not to be rigid and stiff. No, it's not the stiffness. It's firmness always. I think I should also give some time for excuses, sorry, questions. So I think I will leave some time for that. Now another about bending. See, when you do, this is an address. When you do this you can do this also. But when you do this much we are taught always. Everywhere there's been very lot of grace, but the grace is not taught initially to Tattadavu students. It comes slowly. As you learn, it comes slowly. Shall we stop here, Reshma? What do you say? I don't want to put too much into the one lecture.
Sure, we can check as well if there is any questions, and then we can have an interactive session as well.
Okay. I'm ready for any questions you have.
Good evening, ma'am.
Adyo. Good evening. Good evening.
Namaskaram.
Namaste.
So, in Namaskaram we do Kadramula, right?
Yes.
We start with
Yes.
Exact meaning of this Kadramula I want to do. This I know for the backstage artist, Ashtadik Kalak, Devi. But only the meaning for exact for the Kadramula I want. We hold this, huh?
Why do we hold Katakamukham? We could have held Shikharam.
Okay.
Why are we holding Katakamukham? You know, certain things I'm not very sure. I don't know. See, why do you hold? There are a lot of things which are taught to us which were traditional with the Natavanas and the Devadasi community, and sometimes, many times we haven't questioned. What is the meaning of holding Katakamukham here? We could have held Natyarambam, I mean, sorry, Tripatagam, or we could have held Shikharam and then started this. I'm not very sure. I'm sorry to say. I don't know the meaning of why we hold Katakamukham. Katakamukham is also to, you know, pluck flowers, and then you would have learnt in the, what is it? Vinyogas, all that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Do we have any more questions? You can either unmute. Yajana, there is
Yes.
a question on chat from DP Gokul.
Yes.
The question is, what is your opinion on mixing of styles?
Okay. My opinion about mixing of styles. What are the different styles? You know, when I was learning Bharatanatyam in Kalakshetra, we were told that there is this Pandanallur style which Kalakshetra followed because it was taught by Pandanallur Meenakshi Sundaram Pillai. There is also another style, I am talking about, you know, many years back, Varavur style. Now, the Varavur style used hip movements. You noticed one thing in Kalakshetra dancing, there is no hip movement, you know, like, no? There is no hip movement, and they don't use hip movement. So that is what is the difference. We were the very stark differences we were told, that which were different styles. Okay. Now mixing of these two, if you are talking about that, I'm talking from about 30 years back, more than 30 years back. If you did it beautifully, Okay, that will be your style. You should know that Padma Subramaniam, God help, bless her, she had mixed a lot of styles, and she had used the sculptures to structure her style of dancing. I cannot say that is a wrong style, or I mean not wrong, but it's different. So there is no question about mixing styles, I think. But now what is the difference? Hardly any difference in these different styles everybody is talking about. People say Kalamandalam style, Kalakshetra style. You know, as I said, even in Kalakshetra, tatteitam dhitteitam, tatteitam dhitteitam. I was taught like this to look up. That was my teacher who taught me. There's also like this. You could do even that. So, mixing of styles, I think that is, I mean, personally to me, if it looks beautiful, it's good. I mean, it should be allowed. There is no pure form or anything. Even Kalakshetra always. I was in choreography with Rukmini Devi. She has choreographed small bits on me. I know she always used to choreograph which suited my structure, my form, you know. So like that, there is no hard and fast rule. I have no opinion. I mean, nothing. I don't think anything is wrong in mixing styles, as long as it looks nice. It should look beautiful. What is this art form for others to see? If you dance on your own for yourself, that is, you know, another level you're going to attain nirvana or something. But otherwise, you're dancing for an audience. So if the audience think that it's beautiful, then, and you feel it's beautiful, it's beautiful. So that's what I feel about mixing of styles. Mixing of styles in Kathak and Bharatanatyam and Mohiniyattam and Bharatanatyam, that will really give, it's going to be a real avial, you know, khichdi in North Indian this thing when you say, I think. But in Bharatanatyam or in Mohiniyattam, there must be different styles. Like in Kathak, there's this different gharanas. I don't know about, but there is no more any gharanas. My friend was saying, because she's a Kathak artist, and she's saying because people have taken the beautiful things from each gharana and they've used it, and it looks beautiful. So then why not? I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, there is a thank you from Dipti, and we have the next question. This is from Madhu. Namaste, ma'am. Can I know what are the changes made in the present day Bharatanatyam when compared to ancient Sadirata?
Again, the present Bharatanatyam, when you say now what I do or what a lot of people do in and around India or all over India, all this now ICDA members, what is this? What are the things which they do, which we all do, and what used to be done by the Sadir artists? Actually, I haven't seen any Sadiratam. It was before my time, before I was born, I think. I mean, anyway, even if I was there at that time when I was a student in Chennai. I am from Kerala, but I went to Chennai to learn this art form. When I went to Chennai, there was no Sadiratam anywhere. But I watched Bala Saraswati dance. By the time when I went to watch Bharat Saraswati, she was a senior artist. She must have been in her 40s or 50s or something. And she was so, she did everything so beautiful. Her famous was Krishnani Begane Baro. She did it so beautifully that I also sat there and cried. You know, I had tears in my eyes because it was so beautifully. She had rendered, I mean, the song was beautiful and her dancing was beautiful. There was so much of bhava, so much of feeling. But she danced in the Sadir style because she was one of those people who was dancing and the old Sadir style. I didn't find any difference. Maybe in Adavus, maybe they were not as firm as what Kalakshetra decided to continue, I mean to adopt and move forward. But I am not very sure of, I don't think I know. I don't know about the Nritta aspects of Sadir to tell you that these are the differences now. I can say codification of Adavus and the firmness and the postures are all what Kalakshetra insisted on, introduced into the Sadir atom. But I cannot even say that Sadir did not have any firmness or all this. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. There is a thank you from Madhu as well.
Thank you.
We have time for at least one more question. If we need to stop on the dot at 7:30.
We started late.
That's true.
Okay, fine.
Definitely two more questions.
If
Okay, this is a question from Arsha Dowdy. Teacher, Rukmini Devi can be considered as a social reformer who revives the art form and the artist. Being her student, what do you think is the need of the art form and the artist in the current context?
that's a big question. I was expecting questions about the technique and such things what we talked about today, but nobody is very much interested. Okay, no, all right. Rukmini Devi was an art reformer. She brought the art, I will say she brought the art out of the temples and we could all see it. We could learn. We all are enjoying dance now. And we have all done a lot of things with the dance. In Bharatanatyam itself, we have created, Rukmini Devi created a lot of dance dramas. We are also creating dance dramas. There are a lot of people who choreograph, continuous choreography. And then this choreography has gone into, people have trained themselves in Western style of dancing. And where they can do not almost, acrobatics types of movements, but still make it look beautiful. So then, now what can be go forward is, it depends upon each choreographer, each artist. And then the artists are the ones who show us what is to be, what they are doing and whether you like it or you want to follow that or you want to create something with that, in that style. That's all I can say, because it's it's art. It should grow. It cannot just stay in one place. When I teach what I have been taught in Kalakshetra, basics. When my students finish a course, about say 4 or 5 years, that is just finishing the course. But if they want to do an Arangetram, they need to at least do 8 years. By the time they finish that course, they are thorough. They have a very strong foundation in Bharatanatyam. They can go into any other styles of dancing and do well. Other than that, I cannot say what. So then I'm not creating, I'm not choreographing so that I can present my choreographies on stage. My students can present it on stage. Why? Because I'm training. I want to train. I want to propagate this style of dancing, which is not just style. It is to do with your body, how you manage your body, how you move your body according, coordinate movements, eyes, hands. It's also a way of, it's a therapy also. So that's what I think. I hope I have answered your question. It's a big question, I told you already.
Gauri says thank you to you, and there is also thank you ma'am for this wonderful lecture demonstration. This is a message Maithili.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Maithili.
There's one. I'll just quickly read the rest of the comments. There is a thank you, ma'am, from Jayashree. Thank you, ma'am. A blessing to have a session with you from Aryan.
Thank you.
There's a question from Sahil. Namaste, ma'am. Could you tell me some techniques to improve our dancing style?
Improve what? Improve?
Improve dancing style. Dancing style.
Dancing style. It depends upon what style you want to improve. If you are a student of Bharatanatyam, whatever I said just now is a great thing to improve your dance style. And otherwise I have to make a tutorial and put it on into the net and tell you about where to give your strength for each adavu, which part of your body should be thought about. Like when you do Natadavu, you can see me, yes? When you do this hand, you're looking at this hand and then you're looking straight. What about the other hand? That hand also has to be held very firm. It should not sag. Even in Alaripa, when you do this hand should not go down. Tam, dida, te, tate, tam, dida, te. Always this hand. So you need to be aware of your whole body to the tips of your fingers. That's what one of my teachers, who was actually a musician for dance, she used to tell, Amma, ungaloda and the fingertips kuda enakku theriyano eppo. That's what they used to tell. So you need to be aware of your whole body to improve your style. And then if you want particular improvement in your particular style of dancing, you need to find out. There are a lot of people who give you help. I can also help. Thank you. I hope you have answered.
There are multiple other thank you messages from Vasundhara.
Vasundhara is my friend. Thank you, Vasu, for being there.
There is a question from Sindhu Balakrishnan. Namaste, ma'am. Is there any particular proportion for keeping the feet for Aramandi posture?
Yes, there is a proportion. You know, the scalparity, stand up. The scalparity is something which you need to get to exactly to the side. At least, again, it is what I have been taught, I am telling you. The leg should be in a straight line with 3 finger space in between, and then when you sit, it has to be a rhombus. Your leg should form a rhombus. You know, the bent knees and the shin and the thighs, all that together should form a rhombus. Rhombus is all the 4 sides are equal. It's a square which is, in a tilted way. So that is what is Aramandi, and that is called Ayatam. Aramandi is a Tamil term, I hope you know. Aramandi, Murumandi. Mandi means bend. So when you sit in Aramandi, it is half Mandi. And then when you sit full, it's Murumandi. So this is the, what do you say? Proportion for Aramandi. You need to maintain this. I see many of these famous dancers, all of them on stage, they maintain that Aramandi very beautifully and the Natya Arambam. Yes, you need to maintain, that is the proportion. Any other question? I hope I...
Yes, there are multiple thank you messages from the audience. There's one more question. This is from Girija Ravindranath.
Okay.
The question is short is, I think for graceful dancing, the mudras and postures are very important in its correct form, which these days few teachers neglect. I think this should be taught in a very early years of learning itself. What do you say?
I agree with you totally, Leela. I teach my students, even in Kalakshetra also, we were taught to hold the mudras from the beginning. in the first year itself you are taught how to hold mudras. Mudras, they hastas, like patakas, tripatako, ardhapataka, kartari mukha. Everybody teaches this, but are they insisting on the children holding the fingers together, or fingers like this and fingers bent, correct way, bend? This is important. I try to teach my students, insist that I'm a little task master. I insist on them holding all these mudras in the correct posture. That too, not just anyway like this, with your elbows down. I make them stand, stretch their hands and then bend and do all the mudras. And they cannot put the hands down till they finish all the 26, I think, 26 of them. Patakas, tripatako, ardhapataka, kartari mukha, mayurakyo, ardhachandrascha. All this has to be done. The bend of the wrist is important. The fingers, holding the fingers, everything is important. We need to insist. All teachers should insist and teach it separately. You don't need to teach the children lot of theory. No, but these are very basic things and they need to know. Unless you teach, unless the teacher teaches, how will the student know? And they are young. When they are young, you need to tell them, you need to guide them that it is very, very important about hand gestures. Yes, thank you, Leela, for bringing that up.
There are multiple more thank you messages. Blessy, Siva, Sindhu Balakrishnan, Mamta, and thank you from Girija Ravindranath as well. Do we have any more questions? I will just hand back over to Gopakumar sir. If there are no more questions, we can just start the closure activity.
Before we wind up, I would like to announce that we have a session on 2nd of February by Padri Vidyapushi on aesthetics of Abhinaya. On 2nd February at 6:30 p.m. we are having a session on aesthetics of Abhinaya. All of you can get the interview on Zoom, and you can get the password and ID from our WhatsApp group. Those who have not joined the WhatsApp group, then please send SMS to my number 94465 39836. So, on behalf of Indian Classical Dance Association, I would like to thank Smt Girija Ravindranath for giving a wonderful session today. So, we had maximum number of participants today. We never had so many participants for any of our events earlier. So, thank you very much on behalf of the association, and also I would like to thank Reshma George who was welcome all the page to host this meeting. So, thank you very much. Thank you, Girija. Thank you.
Thank you all. We
Resh-
wish you a great time.
One sec, Reshma, we will do a namaskaram and finish off. And then, before the namaskaram, I want to thank Mr. Gopan for this big opportunity for me to speak and give this lecture series. I have always had this in my mind. Initially when I came from Kalakshetra, he used to invite me, and other people used to invite me to go for competitions to judge. I did go and judge, but then nobody called me back because I was not able to give good marks to anybody. So maybe that was my style. So then that finished. But every time I went for a judgment, I used to think, how I wish I could see these students after the programs and tell them few things. I would jot down all their special points and things which they can improve on. But I was never allowed to meet any of these dancers because it was against, you may show favoritism, things like that. That is in Kerala. So Mr. Gopakumar has helped me from then onwards, always supported me. He is a great man to support all artists. I cannot imagine, I mean, I cannot tell you how lucky we are that such a person is there and that he has started this association. A lot of people are coming to know about a lot of other dancers, and like this, I also attend some of the lectures. Very beautiful. Thank you very much, Mr. Gopan. And also, Reshma, I thank you a lot. You have given me a lot of confidence to do this lecture series. Without that confidence, I don't know whether I would have done this. Anyway, thank you. And also to Gopika, my student, she helped me to do all this demonstrations, and my son Kedarnath, sorry, Kedarnath, who has done all this camera recording, etc., etc. A little bit of difficulty was there, but still, without him I would know what to do. And his friend Vishnu, and then well-wishers Sadi Chechi, who is my cousin, and Gopika's sister Malavika, who is also my student. All of you, thank you so much for making this possible. We hope we meet again. Thank you. Namaskaram, please. Dhalang kutakadiku takatadingina tum taka dimmi taka dimmi taka dimmi ka dim. Thank you. Reshma?
Thank you. Thank you all. And we will keep in touch with our group as well as the Facebook page that we have for Indian Classical Dancers.
Also, we have a page. We also have an Instagram page. Please visit us. Please follow us. Rtambhara, on Rtambhara, by name Rtambhara Kochi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.